What's up? I'm Maya Washington, and this is Grownish the Kickback, where we are peeling back this week's episode with a little help from Diggy Simmons and Trevor Jackson, who played Doug and Aaron. We have our writer, Crystal Jenkins, and executive producer, Julie Dean. Yay! Thank you for joining us. Music is a major part of the show. Every time there's a big moment, it's paired with some pretty poppin' songs, and we have two musicians that are with us today. So, Trevor and Diggy, you're gonna both play the role of music supervisor, and I'm gonna read some scenarios, and you're gonna pair each of those with a song.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready. Indeed.
Doug gets dibs on a super exclusive collab with Supreme and Air Jordan before the shoe even drops. What song would you play?
Lucid.
Collab.
I Hit It First by Ray J.
Turn Up.
Swag Surf.
Now, your homie, your boy, Vivek finally gets a girl to agree to go on a date with him. What song would you want to hear? Diggy.
I'd say We Made It by Drake. He finally did it.
You made it.
We made it.
I feel like it won't last long, so I would do Michael Bolton. Tell me how I'm supposed to live without you.
Now, this episode was all about genius. Crystal, what was the inspiration for it?
Honestly, it was Donald Glover. A bunch of people in the room are huge fans of his. And one day, a conversation about him turned into a conversation about how arts, as such as his, is genius. Art that is sort of like niche, can be obscure, dark at times, how it can be genius. And then from there, we got on the subject of like women not being geniuses, and it so happened that Yara had come into the writer's room around that time, and she talked about this podcast that she listened to that spoke about how women, when it comes to art, entertainment, aren't easily considered genius. It was sort of like a no-brainer to do an episode on it.
Okay, question for you.
Yes.
What makes someone a genius?
Make someone a genius. I think acceptance of self. I think so many people try to be other people, and I think the minute that you know who you are, people will be like, oh, that's genius, but really you're just being you.
I want to hear from the ladies. Do you think it's harder for women to be considered geniuses?
I mean, of course, we've made like strides and like women are getting more opportunities now. But I think overall, it still stems from like a place of, I don't want to get too deep, but like male privilege as to the reason why I feel like women don't easily get the label. It's like, oh, such and such is a hard worker. She's very talented. And you could do the same thing that a male does and you may not still get that same like recognition as far as like being labeled a genius.
Yeah, once I saw the names on the board, it was funny that once I saw Zoe's character say it, she was like, wait, hold on, there aren't any women. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even thinking that there weren't women.
We have a very female-heavy writing staff. And it's like, it's a young writing staff, it's a young cast, and to see, like, that's why I truly believe there is genius in everyone, because I see it in every single writer, I see it in every single actor. It's just like, wow, to watch these people at the beginning of their genius is a privilege, and it's so much fun.
And even the women in our cast, like, we have so many different, like, perspectives.
Crazy.
And I feel like so many people can relate to women who have different experiences.
Those are those genius women in the writer's room.
Yeah.
Do you think Zoey should have dropped the class? Was she succumbing to her insecurities?
No, I think her dropping the class was the first time she trusted her own instincts in a way that wasn't popular, or you know what I mean? It was, to me, Zoey is a character who can at times be superficial and worry about what other people think. And to me, that was the first time she did something where it was because she really felt it in her soul that, oh, I don't have a passion for this.
And sometimes it takes something to happen to sort of like confirm what you sort of were already feeling inside. And in this case, it was Luca being called a genius. It just sort of like ignited feelings that she had already been having. So we definitely wanted to make sure she didn't come off as like a quitter because this person was called a genius and she wasn't.
Favorite part of the episode?
I think it was just the opening of the eyes. I think we all were just talking about it, or you guys already knew, but us in particular, about the women on the board and how there wasn't many, being considered geniuses. So I think unveiling that to myself and to the world, or whoever saw it, is important.
My favorite part was in the episode when Vivek, he went to Doug and he's like, how do you guys know that the artist is black or whatever? Just because like all the names on the board were like of black artists. And Diggy basically schooled him, well, Doug.
I said like, we don't
innovate, not appropriate.
Every new wave of artistry that shakes up culture is always started by a black person. We innovate, not appropriate.
When it comes to like pop culture, black artists a lot of the times are the ones that sort of push the culture forward. And I think that's just something that should be celebrated.
My favorite part is when Vivek sort of gets a little too close to Doug and he goes, what is the deal with your proximity to my body? And that is just the delivery of that line was such a surprise to me. And it's really, it just, that was when really the character of Doug, we're like, oh, that's who he is. Like, we really got it. And it, like that moment, to me, was we saw what Diggy's genius was and how his genius fit into our show.
For sure.
I will say this show is genius. Like, honestly, I watched it, I'm like, what? They're doing this? I didn't even know they could read my mind. It's so genius, so thank you. Kudos to everyone.
Thank you. So much fun.
That's it from us. Make sure to catch the newest episode of Grownish airing next Wednesday on Freeform, and then come chill with me, your girl, right after on Grownish, the Kickback.